of that flanking around, right? Hey friends, Eric Andres, YourGuitarSage here. Welcome. We're doing a live bit. We're live right now. I'm going to be taking your questions in just a moment. That little piece that I just played for you is called Sown in Tears, and it's a tune that I wrote many years ago, and it's on a CD that I give out all the time. Whenever I'm doing giveaways and that sort of thing, I almost always include that CD. And it's also available in the Unstoppable Guitar System, if you're not aware of that, of the Unstoppable Guitar System, right? So it's there for you. Welcome, friends. Today I'm going to be talking about my first live gig. So we'll be talking about that in just a moment. And these new broadcasts that we're doing. Yeah, we got a new background. All sorts of great things happening today. We got the new background. The boys, Mike and Chris and I worked several days, maybe 3 days doing this. 3 days? Maybe it was 2 days. 2 solid days. But nonetheless, it looks really cool, doesn't it? Tell me what you think about it, because I'm digging it. It's a lot more spacious. It feels a lot better, just a lot more homey. I'll be able to have homies on the couch here, and we'll be able to jam out together and all that good stuff. So it's going to be super cool, super fun, all that good stuff. So we're also going to announce winners winners, the winner of this guitar, but we also have other winners that I'll tell you about here in just a moment, okay? First things first, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram. Instagram, folks, you know the drill. I can't see the camera from here because I've got all these other devices up here. But if you want your questions answered, please head over to YouTube and Facebook. That's where I definitely will answer your questions, but the camera is faced the wrong way, the phone, right? Okay, so you know what to do. Now, 2 things, right? Or 1 thing, I should say. Share this right now, please, friends. Like, comment, share. When you share this, you're showing me that you truly appreciate that I'm doing this, and it allows other people to know what's going on. If you're super duper selfish, share it anyhow, because it will give you a chance to win a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365, which we do every week here. We give that whole system away. It's like $529 for the whole enchilada, if you were to buy them separately, okay? Let's get to, so do that, share it. And if you're just a person who shares, who's nice and kind and likes to share, then share it too, okay? On Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. It can be done many places, okay? Let's talk about these winners here, and I say that plural because there are winners. Here's the deal. Friends, thank you so much. If you didn't see the video that we posted this morning, we posted a video this morning that was a thank you to you guys for all the beautiful comments. We received so many. I forgot what the final count was, but it was a crazy amount of comments on this one particular video. Because for those that don't know what we're talking about, we had a contest. If you guys don't know this, we give lots and lots of stuff away. Guitars, thousands of dollars worth of goodies every single month. And this particular goodie right here, this Gibson Les Paul with the translucent blood red top and gold hardware, is going home to, I'll tell you who that is in just a moment. But we do these giveaways all the time, so it would be prudent for you to follow and that sort of thing if you want to know more about that sort of thing. Okay, so what else? Let's talk about the giveaways. We received so many beautiful comments that we said, let's do some runner-ups as well. And for the winner of the guitar, let's throw in another $529 value of the UGS /365. So we're doing that. So here it is. Here are 4 of the runner-up winners, and the runners-up are going to get lifetime guitar lessons from me via UGS 365. Here they are: Warren Bradley, Stephen Smith, Jonas Dorling, and Jerry Gerrand. So congratulations to you guys. And one winner of the guitar and of a lifetime membership to UGS /365 is Dawn Happ. Now, I know some of you ladies out there saying, why aren't there any ladies in here? Number 1, these were randomly chosen. And number 2, I wish I had more ladies following me, but alas, I don't. It's mainly dudes. So what does that say? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Does it mean something? I don't know. But nonetheless, a lot of dudes follow me. So there you go. And so here we go. Let's get into it, and then I'm gonna get into your questions, okay? I'm going to be bebopping back and forth between YouTube and Facebook, okay? So, my first gig, I told you yesterday, it was a weird experience. So, when I was 13, 14, I forget now when I started playing guitar. I believe it was like 14, maybe 13. Nonetheless, it was around that age. Definitely wasn't 15. It was like 14 or 13. Started playing guitar, fell in love with it. The bands that I was listening to, Def Leppard and Adam Ant, actually, Adam and the Ants, The Doors. Not really a lot of guitar bands there. Def Leppard, definitely. But bands I was listening to on Friday night videos and MTV and all that stuff was all like, just like the stuff that I just played there, right? And I fell in love with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. And I just had to do it. I don't know why, but for the same reason that you're sitting here today and you just want to learn how to play this thing, or you do know how to play it and you want to get better like I do, there's some obsession, right? I'm more obsessed about it than I was a year ago, and before that a year ago, right? So it's like the obsession just increases and it becomes so fun. Well, I was hell-bent on learning how to play this guitar, and I'm still going to get there. We all learn, right, in processes. But I learned some stuff back there, but it's a forever process, okay? You never get to your destination. It's always increasing. The goalpost is always moving. With that being said, was playing a lot. And my mom said, you need to get out and you need to play with a band, which is advice that I give you guys all the time. Play with other people, play with a band, play live, write songs, do all these things, because it's really important for you to get that out, not just sit there and whittle away on the guitar, even though I know that's very, very entertaining. And I'm the first guy to say, look, man, if I never played for somebody in my life, I'm fine. I'll just sit in my basement and just shred, come up with licks, learn how to play the guitar. But eventually, you get to a level where you go, well, this might help somebody. Like maybe I could play for a band, or I'll play for the worship band at church, or I'll record some parts for this person or whatever. And you start wanting to get out there and actually express yourself. And this is very, very important. And so around this time, around 16, I forgot how it happened, but my mom saw maybe an ad in the paper or something about somebody needing a guitar player for a band. So I went to this audition. I got the audition. They loved me, and that was my first band, called AWOL. AWOL, A-W-O-L. And basically they had lost their guitar player. They had kicked their guitar player out. Something happened. I don't even remember anymore these days. But nonetheless, that guitar player was gone, and they were bringing me in. And they were in the studio already. They were actually recording parts, so I needed to go in the studio right away. They had gigs lined up. It was just like, boom, go. You got the gig. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. Go. And then we were on. So gigs and all the rest. Well, so first gig lined up. By the way, for those of you that are afraid of stepping on stage fright, I had vicious stage fright. It's still to this day, that's not my favorite thing to do. I just don't think I'm one of those people that was cut out to just always be on stage and be playing all the time. It's like I do it some, but honestly, I'm that kind of guy that could probably stay in the basement and just play. So a big outlet for me is teaching, because I love helping beings get from here to here. Whatever it is, I don't care what it is. And I happen to teach guitar and play guitar and know some things about it, so that's why I do what I do. I love it. But with that being said, I answered this ad. I got the gig, the whole 9 yards. They had gigs lined up. Or I answered the ad for the band. Had gigs lined up. The first gig was this. A friend of the singer had died. This is in high school. She died of something. I forgot what it was, but it was tragic. And it was obviously, it's just tragic if you're in high school, right? So it was a big deal. And so the first gig that I played was a funeral. We were a rock band. Okay, so you do the math. We didn't have a lot of ballads, so to speak. But I remember, I forgot the song that we did was not a ballad. We didn't have any ballads. They were all kind of rockers, you know. And but the one that we had less distortion, and it went over. If I recall, I think I remember it going over like a lead balloon, like a Led Zeppelin. Not in a good way, like a Led Zeppelin. Like it was like a rock band at a funeral. Okay, it was like that. It looked like that. So from there, it went, it didn't go much above that. No, we did a lot of crazy gigs. We took any gig possible. I just remember that. We played for the Moose Lodge, and we just did any gig possible. We did fashion shows. We played in malls. We did all sorts of really weird gigs. And it was an ongoing joke. Spinal Tap, this is Spinal Tap, the movie was out around that time, and we would joke about it all the time because it was as if we were Spinal Tap, because we were just doing puppet shows and stuff like that. We didn't do a puppet show, but we might as well, because the first gig was a funeral. So there you go. No disrespect to the dead, but nonetheless, it was a funeral. It is what it is, all right? All right, so there you go. That's the first gig. If you can trump that gig, then please do so. Let us know, because what a weird gig, right? It's weird. All right, I'm going to bump over to YouTube, and I'm going to start getting to some questions there, and then I'll bump over to Facebook, okay? Please, friends, share this if you haven't already. Okay, I'm only looking for those with a question mark. Why, Eric? Because there's lots of comments, and I need to be able to just see that question mark and go. Also helps if you put it at the front of the question, but you don't have to. I'm looking for it, okay? Did I play Stairway at the funeral? David, no, but that'd have been a good one, yeah. When I was on stage, all my anxiety disappeared, and there was just music. Michael, beautiful. Now, when I step on stage, it's usually the first mess up that fixes me, because I mentioned this the other day, that when ego kills creativity, and it's not good for music. So if you can, any way you can get your ego out of you, meditation, mindful thinking, helping the poor, whatever it takes, do it. Get the ego out, because there's a very obvious ego, which is that kind that says, man, I'm a badass, da-da-da-da-da, and whether you are or you're not, you should be saying that, right? You shut up and play the music. Let your music talk for you. When people talk about being great and all these other things, it means that they don't have the substance typically, because otherwise the substance would speak for you. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever seen somebody who's very demure and quiet about whatever it is that they're good at, and then you find out that they're this rock star, and you go, what? Why didn't you ever tell me this? And then there's that other guy who's just constantly going on about how amazing he is, and then he plays, and then you're like, you suck, actually. Let me just be the first to tell you, you suck. And I know I'm not the first. So best to squash that ego. Well, that's the obvious ego. There's another ego, which I tend to have more of. And it's this ego that's very concerned about appearance. I guess it's similar. That's why it's ego. But it's like you do want to impress, but it's not like you think you're just a badass. It's just that you want to impress. And that's ego in and of itself. It's just disguised as this other thing. And so that's the part of my personality that seems to be stronger. I don't think that I'm like some badass player and better than other people. I've never thought that. Never in a million years. I know some of the things that I can do, and I know some of the things I can't do, and I'm always constantly striving for something else. So that's really not in my personality. I get that comment sometimes on YouTube, but people are misinterpreting what I'm saying, because I honestly, at my gut, do not feel that whatsoever. But I can tell you that I do feel this need to want to present the music in a way that's beautiful, okay, without mess-ups and all that stuff. Well, guess what? Life is filled with failures. It's filled with mess-ups, okay? And so Subskip gave just $5 just now. Subskip, we're going to be going to lunch. My friend, thank you so much. That is so kind, man. Things are starting to click more and more after using UGS and 365. That is beautiful, Craig. Thank you, and thank you so much. Subskip and who was it? Who started this craze? It was Thrash Metal started this the other day, where he donated money on YouTube. By the way, there's like a little button there that you can do this, and he started this, and like all these people started doing it. It was so kind, and I said that I would specifically create a lunch fund for the guys. Otherwise, no food for them. So if you want to donate to that, I literally will be taking that money and taking the boys out and going to lunch. I don't even know how to collect that money, but I will take them out to lunch. I promise you. So we went that day, and we went the following day as well, and we'll continue to. So thank you so much, Subskip. So kind of you. So anyhow, back to the ego. I'm going to get to the questions again. Is that there's this need to just be, it has to be perfect. Number one, I know there's a lot of pride taken in that. I used to take it as well. Oh, I'm a perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist. Bull crap. Here's the deal. If you think you're a perfectionist or if you label yourself a perfectionist, I'm telling you, do a little digging, because the people who are really knocking it out of the park in the world are the people who are failing, not these perfectionists. There's no such thing. It's a myth. Okay? Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss, name it. Okay? All these great people that are doing these amazing things, they fail a lot more than they succeed. Babe Ruth said it all the time. When he hit, he always swung for the fences, and he had more strikeouts than most people. His RBI was low, but when he did connect with the ball, it was over the fence every time. Okay, that's the deal of Babe Ruth. Look it up. I'm not making this crap up. JR, brother, JR Lay, thank you so much. We got $10 towards the lunch fund, Chris. So there you go. One burrito for you, buddy. Yeah. And Mike will be coming in later, so we'll get something to eat today. Thank you so much, JR. So kind of you, brother. So that's a little sneaky kind of ego. Here's how to circumvent that is just understand you're going to make a mistake. And for me, it's almost like once I make the mistake, it's like everything's better. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It brings me back down to earth. Things don't have to be perfect. Just have fun. And that's really the best thing that you can do. Okay, enough preaching. Here we go. Is there a guitar lord in this music world? Nope. There's not. I mean, there are amazing players, right? Rock gods, if you will. But there's everybody's learning. The best of them are still learning, if they're wise. All right, Nermit's learning the 9 essential chords. Friends, a lot of these questions that you asked me today, you're going to hear me refer to the free course, and here's why. If I literally spent a minute on each one of these questions that come across, 2 minutes, that would be a lame answer for a lot of these questions. It's not enough time to sufficiently answer the question. So number one, I'm taking a long time to answer a question, and number two, I'm not really answering the question sufficiently. So if I can answer it, and it's not something that I teach in my course, okay, in the free course, I'm not saying you need to go buy something, I'm saying the free course, links in the description of this video, YourGuitarSage.com/30, then I'm just going to send you to the free course, because you're going to have a much better explanation there, and then I can get to the questions that aren't in there, okay, cool? All right, wonderful. Nermit, 500, what did you send me? 500 something, 500 pesos. Nermit, thank you so much, brother. I don't know how much that is, a peso, but it doesn't matter. It's kind, and you have this orange, beautiful orange color here. So Nermit, thank you, buddy. And we've been talking, I believe, on YouTube, or maybe it's inside the system. So thank you so much, buddy. So kind of you. So sweet. Thank you, Eric. That's super cool, man. What was this song called that you played at the beginning of the live stream? Jeff, that is called Sown in Tears. The long version is Sown in Tears, Reaped in Joy. But I just call it Sown in Tears, or now I just call it Sown. But nonetheless, it's a song. It's an original song. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music, or Apple. I don't know. It's everywhere you can get app music for free or buy it. You know, it's in all those places, and it's also, I think I have it on YouTube as well. But all sorts of, you can find these songs all over the place, and I have the CD for you. I give those away all the time. So Richard, $10, thank you so much, man. What is going on? Something in the universe here. This is crazy. Richard, thank you, buddy.
Those are Indian rupees.
Indian rubies?
Rupees.
Rupees. Indian rupees, man, so cool. I've never received a rupee. Thank you. A roofie, but not a rupee. Thank you so much. That's so cool. And Richard, thank you, $10, man. That's so cool. We definitely got lunch money today. Can you perform at my funeral? Luke said. The funeral gig is it's really dead, if you know what I mean. When doing chords and intervals, do you count the numbers? When you're doing chords and intervals, do you count the numbers? I'm gonna say yeah. I'm not sure what you're asking there, but you know, the only way to get intervals, to build chords, is to count the numbers, yes. And I cover that in detail inside UGS. I've got some videos for that on YouTube. Whenever you have a question about stuff like that, you can search Your Guitar Sage intervals, Your Guitar Sage scales, Your Guitar Sage chords, Your Guitar Sage Elvis, Your Guitar Sage whatever, you know. Yeah. Sown in Tears. So S-O-W-N, Sown, S-O-W-N, Sown in Tears. And it is original, yes. Nermit. It's an Indian rupee. Okay, Nermit, thank you so much, bud. That is so cool of you, my friend. Examining Suns, would you check out my band? If I can remember. Thank you. Yeah. What is the best placement for your amp at home? In front, on side, or behind you? Which do you prefer? So I have my amps. I've got 4 amps sitting right here. And they're all faced directly. Well, almost all of them are faced. The one that I'm using all the time is faced directly at my right ear. So I can't hear out of this ear. No, I can. But it's pointed directly at me. The reason being is I want the lowest volume in here as possible, which is still pretty loud. But I want that direct volume. So that's what you want to do. Is you don't want to have it hitting the back of your feet per se. Although the sound is going to sound different than when it's directly at you than if it's hitting your feet and that sort of thing. So you need to experiment with that a little bit. Okay. When I make a full bend on an electric guitar, on my way back, my fingers usually get stuck on one of the strings above. What am I doing wrong? Rahan, you're bending wrong. Okay, I know that sounds silly, right? But you're bending wrong. How do you fix it, Rahan? You keep practicing that specific thing. It's not like some of these answers, I know you're looking for a specific thing like, oh, cut your nail, or oh, use your fingertip more, or something like that. Sometimes that is the answer. But a lot of things on the guitar, I can give you a direct thing to do, but you have to kind of, it's like massaging clay or working like sculpting or something. It's like everybody's fingers are different, your guitar's different, the way you're bending might be different, and so there's lots of variables there to where that practice is going to fix it. So Rahan, you just need to practice this. But, playing on your fingertip is really going to help. And then also, when you, Chris, let me get a close-up on this if you would. When you're bending, okay, if you're bending like this, but then you're coming down like this, like you're curling, then what's going to happen is you're gonna grab a string. Okay, let me give it a little cleaner tone here. If I'm bending up, and then this knuckle comes up like that, now I've grabbed this other string, so we don't want to do that because what happens is it tucks under that finger. But if you were to just bend up and just leave it in that same position, you're going to find that it's not going to do that. Okay? Great. Okay, what books, of course, would you recommend for music theory for guitarists? Chord creation, harmony, melody, circle of fifths, scale, etc., so I can understand soloing and improvised solos for rock blues. Alexandra, exactly. What that is the Unstoppable Guitar System. I've had 1 million books, lots of teachers, went to college for music, the whole 9 yards. And there's a lot of amazing stuff out there and a lot of amazing teachers. But the whole thing with my method is I specifically said, this is wrong, this is wrong. Why didn't they teach me this? Why isn't this taught? And I said, well, that's how I want to learn. And you won't understand this until you get in the free system, because I get these comments all live long day. Thank you, Matt, for posting that link of the free system in there. And Alexandra, you'll see it right there. It's on YouTube. YourGuitarSage.com/30. Links in the description of the vid. Once you get in there, you're going to understand because I walk you through this stuff step by step. I also use Pareto's rule, which says you can look this up online. Pareto's principle, P-A-R-E-T-O, Pareto. Basically, Pareto's principle says that if you pick the right 20% of things to learn and study of a specific subject, then you can do 80% of the job. Now, when it comes to guitar, it's more like 10-90. If you learn the right 10% of stuff, you could do 90% of the job. That's why I give those first 30 lessons away in there, because literally we've had hundreds of thousands of people go through that and go learn and play guitar. And they're like, great, I know how to play guitar now. They don't even have to buy another guitar lesson unless they want to further their education. But literally those first 30 lessons will teach you so much about guitar, definitely teach you that right amount of 10% that will literally take you have the ability to play 90% of everything else. Ken gives $10, brother. 10 Mosholder. Ken Mosholder. That sounds German to me. Yeah, nice. Ken, thank you, buddy. We're gonna, all right, drinks, margaritas. That's what we're gonna do today, all right? I don't drink, but it's not like I got anything against it. I just don't do it. I don't like the way it tastes or feels. Anyhow, okay, so did I went off course here, didn't I? Okay, let's get to it. Ken, thank you so much, buddy. So appreciate that. Super cool. Okay. Backing up here just a little bit. Smir Flores, what's up, my friend? Is this course for beginners, James? Yes, it is for beginners. The free course is, the first 30 lessons is for beginners, but there's intermediate, there's advanced. There's 1,000 lessons in it, James. 1,000, a minimum of 1,000 posts. So videos, PDFs, the whole 9 yards within this. So you'll have a video that'll be teaching you about the blues scale, and then you have a PDF for that, and then I'll have licks for that, and then I'll be assembling Stairway to Heaven or something like that, so that you can, so all this stuff is step-by-step process. It's the only way to learn anything, right? A lot of people, this is the thing about guitar. This is why I have a job, is because people go about it the wrong way all the time. It's not necessarily even the wrong way. There's just a more optimal way. I don't really believe in the wrong way. I just believe in there's more optimal ways. And what they do is they pick up the guitar and they just start learning some tab and they learn a song here and there, and all of a sudden they're like, well, why can't I bend this note? Well, why can't I play this bar chord? Why can't I read music? Why can't I do this, that, the other thing? It's because they've left stuff on the table. And if you just go through those first 30 lessons, you're going to see what I'm talking about here, and you're going to end up being able to comprehend things. You're going to have a great 30,000 foot view to where from there you can go out to these different places. I literally show you how to know what to study and what not to study. A lot of people think, oh, this is really, really hard to do. I'm going to learn about jazz modes. I'm going to be a great guitar player because jazz modes are really hard to learn. Great, good luck. You're going to learn about jazz modes. You're not going to learn about jazz modes. You're going to try to study them. And you're going to be like, I still don't know what's going on. You got to learn the basics first. If you want to play jazz, great, do that. But I'm telling you, learn these basics first. Okay? All right, here we go. All right, what triads help you to make a melodic solo? That question doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, James. Triads are just chords. So there's major, there's minor, there's diminished. So all of them, it just depends on the chord that's being played. Okay? Mosholder without the second S. Mosholder, right? That's probably the right way to say it. So I'm purchasing an Ibanez semi-hollow body. It's a plucking setup worth $199. Have you heard of this service? Yes. And do you think it's worth it? Worth the cost? I have one guitar, so I'm giving this one away, right? We're giving this guy away today, but I'm giving this one away as well. Ooh, what? Look at this, right? That's my Les Paul Darkfire. I've had this one for years, and it is a beast. Look at that. Would you look at that? Isn't that nice? I love this thing. Anyhow, I'm giving this one away. This one's been plucked, okay? This will be, to date, the most expensive guitar that I've ever given away. This is a first run. You're going to know about it later on. I don't know when we're going to give this one away. Maybe the next giveaway, but nonetheless, this is a first run Gibson Les Paul Darkfire. And this has been plucked, and it plays like a race car. It's beautiful. So, worth the cost? It depends on what worth is a weird word. It's not weird. It's just, what is it worth to you? Watch videos 1 and 2 in the free course. It'll make more sense to you. Okay. All right, great questions. What gauge strings does he use? New here. I use all different gauge strings, but typically 10 to 42, sometimes 10 to 46. Sometimes 9 to 46, like on my EVH, so it just depends. Here's the deal. I would include that in the 90% of the things that really don't matter. Just really doesn't matter. Matters a little bit, but it doesn't matter like an hour of practice matters. That's the stuff that really matters. Okay. When will you have your first guest? Well, I've had a few guests now. Lance Allen, a great finger-picking guitar player. I've had Brett Papa. He'll probably be my first guy because he's here a lot, and I just love that guy. He's like my bro, bro from another mom, and yeah, so awesome. So probably Papa. I texted him actually a couple days ago. In fact, he hadn't got back with me. Papa, what's up with that? Probably shredding somewhere. All right, so yeah, but he'll probably be the first guy. Yep. Okay. Ooh, lots of questions. Okay. Hi, Eric. I'm young and very into music, but I don't know what to do with it. How do you consider a career in music nowadays, especially when there are so many competitors, and what options are there? Charlie, there's always been competition. Always, always, always. Yes, there's more than there are yesterday because there's more babies growing up, and it will continue to go like that. Okay? But here's how you do it, Charlie. You rise above everybody else. And the way you do that is not by being lazy, and not by wasting time, and not by not having a plan, and not having goals, all these other things. So when I talk about these things all the time, they directly relate to your guitar playing as well as every other area of your life. So here's the deal. Do you think Adele worries about the competition? No, she doesn't. You know why? She knew she was badass, and she just got out there and sang. So if you're not a badass, then get badass. It's not something that you're born with. I know, I'm blowing minds right out there right now. I know there's people that are going, yeah, what are you talking about? It is something you're born with. You got to admit, Eric, look, you don't want to try to say that to me because you're like talking to a rock, because I don't believe that, never believe that. And here's the deal. The greats of our time do not believe that. Look it up. Start studying these guys and these gals. The people that believe that you're born with all this talent and all this, worth and everything else are people who don't or who aren't excelling in life. The people who are rocking it are people who work their ass off. Bottom line. You don't like that information? Sorry, that means you don't like the truth. Hey, gravity is true also. Okay? You jump off a cliff, you're going to hit the ground. Sorry, I didn't invent it. This is just truth, okay? Is a Gibson actually worth 4 more times than an Epiphone? Typically, they cost more. Are they worth more? Depends on what you think. Watch videos 1 and 2 of the free course. But anyhow, so yeah, there's lots of things to do in music, but, I mean, you can teach. I love teaching. In fact, more than anything else, I love teaching. I really, really love it. It allows me to be with my family, to share some knowledge, some nuggets, help people out, that sort of thing. But there's lots of things to do. But the thing you got to do is just be the best at what it is that you do, because there's no one more youer than you. That's what Dr. Seuss said. I think that was Dr. Seuss, and he was a doctor, so that's really important, right? So just do what it is that you do best, because literally, you got to understand, you have a fingerprint. There's no one that has a better fingerprint than your fingerprint, and there's things that make up you that nobody else on this earth could ever do as good as you. But and we all have that seed within us. If you don't culture that seed, if you don't water it, if you don't feed it, if you don't do the things you're supposed to do, number 1, you're a lazy ass, and number 2, you're a lazy ass. So two reasons not to be that way. And because you have a gift to give the world and to yourself to be something great. So you've got to culture that up. And my God, you're on, at least those folks that are on YouTube right now, not on Facebook, but no offense, Facebook, I'll be over there in a minute. But on YouTube, my God, I watch hours and listen to hours of stuff a day, building my mind and my spirit. It's like there's so many answers out there. There's a lot of wrong answers too, but you got to do that navigating. You're a big boy, big girl, do it, What would you recommend for creating melodic solos according to the feel of the song? I'm not able to create great sounding solos. It just sounds like major scale over whatever solo I can create. So how can I? Okay, issue. So exactly, this is the kind of question I'm talking about, that there's many, many layers to this. So there's not a quick answer to this, okay? Not at all. But there's layers to this. You have to know how to follow the chord, to know what chord's being played. I have videos for all this stuff. If you really want this answered, You've got to get on some sort of course. You've got to invest in your education about this. It's something that can't be answered easily. But I can tell you that it has to do with knowing what chords being played. It has to do with repetition. It has to do with learning other licks, aka vocabulary, just like we're talking right now, right? We learn these words mostly not from a book, but from other people talking, okay? So you got to do that. Yes, Brett was just in Nashville, and I couldn't meet with him at that time. But hey, somebody just gave $4.99. Thank you so much. Who is this? Who is this? Rick Fuqua. Rick, what's up, my friend? I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Rick. I think because we've talked before. I think inside the system, Rick. There is a gal here. There's a gal here in town with the last name of Fuqua. In fact, she's one of our babysitters, and she's a super sweet gal. Maybe related. I don't know. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna bump over to Facebook. Okay. Maybe I should invite my family as a guest. Meet the family behind the man. Well, here's the deal. So my wife and I, mainly my wife, wrote this book recently on, I say recently, it's been over a year now. It's just we've been so busy that we got a few other things we got to do to it and it'll be done. But nonetheless, she's a hit songwriter, like country songwriter. She's huge. Melissa Pierce. She's amazing, a great songwriter. And she has this book that she wrote. I wrote some about the music part of it, but she wrote about the lyrics and the crafting of a song. And she will be on the show because we're going to be talking about this book. We're going to be doing live broadcasts like this specifically about writing songs and that sort of thing. So it's going to be super fun. So you're going to meet her for sure. And then on social, you'll see my little guy, little Eric. So cool. All right, great. All right, I'm going to bump over to Facebook because I don't want to leave these kids hanging, right? But great questions on YouTube right now. Love it. Thanks, friends. Okay, and I'm just gonna bump all the way to the top here. Am I a top fan? It's not showing that, Roddy, but I'm not sure how to do that. I think you just be cool and you comment a lot and you like a lot and that sort of thing. You know, another guitar. What? Yeah, that's usually it's a guitar a month typically. You know? When you started playing, did you take lessons or start on your own? The first, I'd say, year, maybe 2 years, it was on my own. Maybe it was the first year. I think I got in lessons pretty quickly because my family was like, dude, like, go get some lessons. You suck. No, they saw that I was spending so much time on the guitar that they were like, dude, let's do this. So my sweet family, my mom and dad paid for that for me. And so that's, yeah. And then some on my own, and then went to college, and then on my own again. And then I've met with lots of guitar teachers, instructors, other peers that knew something that I didn't know over the years. So yeah, the more the better, okay? If you want to learn to fret chords with a light touch, just play with sore fingers, right? Yeah, sure. And that means you've been playing a lot, so that's great. Love the videos. Is your full-time job, or do you do other things as well? No, Bob, this is all I do. That, and I'm a dad and a husband and a son and those sorts of things. But yeah, this is it. Oh, you okay? Sounds like you have a cold. Maybe a little stuffed up, I suppose. I took a cold shower this morning, but I don't have a cold. How often should strings be changed on an electric? It depends, whatever you want. I have videos on this, but basically when it sounds bad, when the guitar goes out of tune because of the strings, maybe when they get really old, sometimes they just stop staying in tune, or if it just doesn't sound good, doesn't play good, breaking strings, going into the studio, doing live, lots of different reasons to do it. But I don't like changing strings on guitar, so I don't do it unless I have to. Is it a feel thing, an appearance, sound, or is it when one breaks, change them? Yeah, so all that. So Ryan, on YouTube, search YourGuitarSage strings and watch, because I'll talk about all that stuff and I'll guide you through that process, okay? Did you switch to the couch for comfort, sore back? Do you like the new studio setup, or do you find it to be a work in progress? No, I love the new setup. This couch is actually not as comfortable as I would like it to be, because there's like it's like really hard right on the ridge here. It's not. So the other thing just kind of cupped my hiney really nicely. But it was also, I was on this, I'm on this like bar stool thing. So I'd love it if the couch was pitched forward a little bit. So we may do something like that. But right now it feels a little bit funny. But it hurts a little bit. What do I think about the Mustang 2 amp? I don't know anything about it. I know a lot of my online students have it, but I don't know anything about it. Roger Gillespie is saying, what is an efficient way to learn to read music for guitar? Tablature is fairly straightforward, but are often missing on music sheets. Roger, the only way to learn music is to learn music. It's like learning to read. It's time-consuming, it's tedious, but it can be fun. So what I always do is I pick music that I really like and I want to hear it over and over again, and maybe even to where it's complex to play, because that slows you down. If it's really easy to play and hard to read, that can be very boring. Just like if something was super easy to read but very hard to play, that would be frustrating too, because you're like, I can read it but I can't play it. But if you have them at the same time, it's like the one throttles the other one back. You're not like, I really need to play this faster. You're like, okay, I just need to set this chord up or whatever. So that's what I would suggest doing, starting off with some easier, maybe like classical stuff, and that's easy to read, I should say, and fairly easy to play. That's what I would start with. Okay, I hardly ever have a question to ask. I totally comprehend your tutorials. If I don't get it at first, I always do later. Okay, why the questions, Roddy? That's what I'm asking. What to do if you can't hear your amp in a band? Turn it up, dude. Crank it. Like it's not loud enough, even though the band says that they can hear you. This is my first band. It needs to be pointed. Let's see, what do you do if you can't hear your amp? You need to point the amp towards you, like it's not loud enough, even though the band says they can hear you. This is my first band. Yes, get in front of the speaker. This is the problem with every guitar player, is they want to crank that amp up, and it's not pointed in their ears, it's pointed at everybody else, and they're like, dude, would you turn it down? Here's what you need to do. Blast your own eardrums out, and then you'll bring it right down to the right level. You're the only guy that wants to hear it anyhow, probably, right, for the most part. So point that amp at your head, at your ears. Better if it's facing your face, since your ears cup like this instead of like this, unless you're a weirdo, unless they go backwards. Sorry for anybody whose ears go backwards. But if since your ears go forward, it's good to have the amp in front of you, hitting you in the face, okay? Live, obviously, you can't do that. That's why a lot of guitar players will kind of, it's helpful because you're looking at your guitar and you got one ear at least pointing towards it. Okay. Good questions. How do you donate? Ken. Well, you did, Ken. Thank you, buddy. Mossholder. Gretzky said 100% of the shots not taken will not go in. Yeah, he's paraphrasing, but that's basically 100% of the shots you don't take, you won't make, or something like that. And that's 100% true. Hockey player Wayne Gretzky, one of the greatest scorers, and he would shoot all the time and miss all the time, but he also made more than anybody else because he went for it. So what's the lesson, guys? Go for it and fail. I'm serious. Fail. I didn't invent this stuff. These are the gurus that I'm listening to that tell me this all the time, and they're 100% right. They didn't invent it either. They're learning it from somebody else. But these are truisms throughout life. If you're all safe all the time and always so worried about everything, you're going to live, number one, a boring-ass life, and number two, you're not going to have anything to show for it. So get off your A, and that's short for ass, and do the shots, and go for the interviews, and go for the auditions, and go for the play in front of people. Just do it. Get out of your comfort zone, man. That's where the quan is. That's the good stuff, I got Ken, my Florida boy, there. Good. Yes, Ben, we'll be doing the live lessons in 2019 here on Saturday mornings. Yes, we will be doing that again. Indeed, coming up soon. What's happening with studio video questions? That's a great question, Robert. What is happening with it? No one's submitting them. So here's the deal. You guys, it's real easy to just submit a question on here, right? But if you want a detailed answer, submit a video, and we have the video that will show you how to do that. Hey, Chris, is that on our Facebook page?
Yeah,
It's on our Facebook page, okay? It's facebook.com/YourGuitarSage for those folks on YouTube. That's where to go. You're going to see the video. You'll have to go down and search for it. It's not far down. It's a pretty recent one. And it'll show you exactly how to do that. You need to basically tag us. So submit a video, and then we'll show it actually on the show here. You'll see it right in the screen that you're looking at, and then I'll address that person specifically to the problem that they have. Because a lot of times people say, hey, this is what I'm doing, but I don't have a picture, I don't have a video, I don't have anything to go on. So sometimes that's really important to know that, right? How far can you bend? I can't bend more than one step without being afraid of breaking a string. Well, don't fear breaking it, Eric. You might break a string, and then you just put a new one on, right? But you can bend, it depends. Like on my EVH guitar, which is tuned down a half step, you can bend like 2.5 steps, no problem. On most electrics, that's 2 whole steps. That's 2.5 steps. So that's about where I typically don't do bends beyond 2.5 steps. Most of them are half or whole step bends, but you can do a little bit more, sure, yeah. Mikael, yes, you missed it. My first gig. It was a funeral. Dig the studio, Eric. Do you spend equal time practicing on the acoustic versus electric? These days I've been practicing a lot on the electric, but there's time. I go through seasons where I'm doing different things, and at night I'll practice. I'll do a lot of classical with my little boy. We'll do that. So yeah, while he's falling asleep. Who listens to the radio anymore for new rock groups? I don't know. I don't. Said so on my Facebook page. Okay, another question. Are these questions, Roddy? You're putting question marks there. You're kind of cheating the system a little bit. It's a little spammy, Roddy. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Has the internet killed the rock star? Will we ever have another EVH moment? Or is it all YouTube now to become famous? That's interesting that you say that, Larry. You know, music has changed, and it will come back again. Everything is cyclical, so yeah, I think that we will definitely see that again. But you know, times are different, and it's not that they're bad; they're just different. So like, there's so many great players out, more great players than there were back in the day, just because there's more people and more people learning and everything else. You know, will I ever give away a lefty? Since I don't play lefty, I probably won't. Rick, yes, it's Sarah. That is exactly who it is. Are you related, Rick? Huh. Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah, Sarah Fuqua, indeed. So yeah, you'll have to let me know that, Rick. How about that? So cool. All right, I'm gonna bump back over to YouTube. Here we go. Get into some questions here. Friends, please share this video right now for a chance to win lifetime membership to UGS/365. Obviously, if you're not liking the page, subscribed and all that stuff, please do that stuff. Notification bell so that you can be notified when we do these live broadcasts, when I do the giveaways, all that good stuff, you know. Would you play Don't Fear the Reaper? How's that one go? I love that. I love that freaking song. Where's my pick, right? I love that tune. Normally I don't just play stuff in the middle like this, but... I think I have a video for that, you know? Yeah, I've got my own little version of that. My wife and I sing that tune, actually. We've got like a folky version of it. It's badass. I love it. I think it's really cool. If I don't say so myself. Okay. Did you start learning new... Oh, sorry, that's not for me. Okay. Good. I like that you kids are talking amongst yourselves. Hey, Eric, what is the best way to write to a metronome? Michael. Metronome's not going to really help you write anything. It's just going to keep you in time. So not too sure what you mean by that, Michael. Not really a way to write to it. Hi, Eric. If you can phrase it another way where I can understand what you're talking about, that'd be helpful. Thank you, buddy. Hey, Eric. You finally got me using the Nashville number system. Friends, if you don't know what the Nashville number system is, on YouTube, search YourGuitarSage Nashville number. It will absolutely change the way that you think about music. It's not just for Nashville players. However, Nashville players, studio players, are some of the best, and they can literally play a song like that. How do I know? Because I've been in the studio with these guys, and it's phenomenal. And they don't have some special thing that they were born with. They learned the Nashville number system. Learn it. Anyhow, because I have a new band, how do you get everyone on board? There you go. See, right? People are like, it's going to take too long to learn. No, not at all. It's not going to take too long to learn at all. It's easy. If you can count 1 through 7, that's how it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you got the chords. That's a 1 chord, and a 2 chord, and a 3 chord, and a 4 chord, and a 5 chord, and a 6 chord, and a 7 chord, and a 1 chord. That's how you do the Nashville number system. And then there's some other things like major and minor and diminished and stuff like that. But I promise you, so easy. It'll take you, if you follow the method that I do, it'll literally take you like 15 minutes to learn. Maybe. All right? Get them on board, Jeff. And 2, Jeff, I don't know if it matters that they're on board. I've learned in life, you can lead a horse to water, right? But if people are stubborn, they don't want to learn, and it's their loss. I'm not going to sit there and try to get them to do something that they don't want to do, okay? So anyhow, Nashville number system. If you can get them to do it, great, but I don't know of a specific way. People want to learn it or they don't. How many sweaters do I own? Seriously, though. I don't own a ton, really. This is my main sweater. I feel like I'm in Maine on a boat or schooner or something. But I don't know. Maybe like 10-ish? No, I bet you not even 10. Hey, Eric, do you have any tips for learning jazz chords? Yes. Learn it the way that I teach it inside the Unstoppable Guitar System. There are tens of thousands of chords that one can learn, including variations, embellishments, inversions, fingerings, everything else, right? There's so many. But using Pareto's rule again, there's some that you might use one time in your entire life, and there's some that you're going to use 10,000 times. Which one do you think you should learn first? Exactly. The one that you're going to use 10,000 times. So it's important to know what those chords are. Here, you ready? In this order. Here they are. Major, minor, 7th. That's a dominant 7th chord. Minor 7th chord. Major 7th chord. Diminished. Maybe a 9 chord. So, and then we're starting to get out into the outer realms there. 11th chord, suspended chords, 11th chords, 13 chords, etc., etc. But I teach that in order inside of UGS, right? Question about string gauge. What are some of the major differences? I'm a little confused. Cameron, you're not confused. It's not really that big of a deal. There's no major differences. One's thicker, little one's a little bit thicker, one's a little bit thinner. Don't waste any brain cells on it. It's not important. It really is not. I'm going to say that enough times to where you guys understand this, because if you focus on that, you're killing your time. Focus on practice. It doesn't matter what string gauge you use. There are pros that use 11s. There are pros that use 8s. There are pros that use 12s. There are sucky garage band dudes that use 8s. There are sucky garage band dudes that use 12 because Stevie Ray used them. Okay? It's not going to make him a better player. Practice makes him a better player. Cameron, thicker strings are harder to bend. Some believe that you get so much more tone out of it. Don't listen to those guys. For the same reason that a tone meister like Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top uses 8s. Okay? It's like there's so much that can be done by just tweaking your amp, just playing slightly differently on a guitar. There's so much. It has more to do with that than it has anything to do with string gauge, for sure. I'm starting to solo, still quite a beginner. Should I learn natural minor scale or pentatonic? Christoph, learn pentatonic first. On YouTube, search YourGuitarSage pentatonic major. because I talk about the two most important scales that you need to know. It's major and pentatonic. Major, you use this for understanding music theory. If you don't have it, then you don't have a hammer and you are a carpenter. Carpenter, or a measuring tape, I should say. If you're a carpenter, you need a measuring tape or a ruler or something, because if not, everything's going to look wacky. You got to have it. That's for the musician, that's the major scale. The pentatonic scale, if you will, is maybe a hammer or something. It's something that you can use immediately, okay? And it's going to sound pretty good. You're probably not going to use it to measure much, but you can use it right away to get in there and just start noodling and soloing and that sort of thing, okay? Okay. Beginner here. I've found my neck is resting. Oh, well, that one's gone. All right, sorry. This chat just shoots up like that. What do I think about Washburn guitars? Depends on the specific guitar, but I've played some Washburns that are nice. What specifics to country music do you recommend? Please phrase that differently, Froggy. I don't know what you mean by that. What specifics to country music do you recommend? I don't know what that means. I'm pretty good at strumming and lead too, but I'm stuck here now. What to do? I don't understand the question. If you're not in the free course that I'm giving you, or some sort of step-by-step course, I can't really help you much, because it's like going, all right, I really want to know about the theory of relativity, but I only got 30 seconds, so go. Or I want to know about quantum physics, but I only have 5 minutes, so make it snappy, Eric. There's only so much I can teach you in a flippant little question here. Sometimes I can answer you, right? Like the thing about the strings and what have you. But other times I have to point you to a video, or to a set of videos, or to an entire course, because learning jazz chordal theory is not something that you're going to learn in one video or one day or 1 week. Or if you're being really good and really thorough, if you sat down for a year and really studied it, you probably would be pretty good at it. But, it takes some time. So, Himanshu, and I would have to know what your goals are, what it is that you want to do. What's your why for playing guitar? That's very, very important. Thrash metal, what's up? It's the guy that started it all. Thrash metal right there. Okay. Eric, I used to use Ernie Ball Slinky, but my guitar repairman said they put too much tension on my Telecaster neck. Is that true? Michael, I don't know. I don't think that that's true, but I can tell you that you could put nylon strings on your guitar or steel strings on your guitar and tune them to the same tuning, and the nylon strings will have a lot less tension on your guitar. So your repairman could have something there. Since he works on guitars, he might know more about that. I'm saying I don't know. I would research it a little bit. Gauge definitely puts, the thicker the gauge, the more tension it puts on the guitar. Stevie Ray would tune his guitar down a half step to use 12s. Probably because he had these nice vintage strats and stuff like that, and so that's important, so he didn't break the neck on a strat. But I don't know that to be sure, Michael. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't like to answer anything if I don't know the exact answer or have an idea about it. How to improve ear training? Okay, sorry. That's not for me, is it? No. Okay. Cool. Do you think we should have a sound guy in practice setting? Probably not, Jeff. You guys should be able to, drums don't need to be mic'd. The bass doesn't need to be mic'd. The guitar doesn't need to be mic'd. The keys and the vocals need to go through a PA, right, typically. Unless you're just playing really, really loud, you just don't need to mic everything up. I've played in, I don't know, I can't even tell you how many bands I've played in. Probably 30 bands in my life, and out of those bands, I'm trying to think if any of them were mic'd, where we were actually mic'd the actual rehearsal. We didn't. I can't think of any that we did that for. If we did, it would seem weird. Unless it was a really big tour or something like that, then yeah, you're gonna actually set up and do a dress rehearsal. You're gonna rehearse like that in rehearsal hall, But typically you're not going to do that unless you got the money for all that, and unless there's a need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. What features in a looper should a beginner look for? Lance is saying. Lance, most loopers are going to have everything that you need in them. Others are going to have bells and whistles that you may or may not need. But honestly, you're going to have what you need in a looper. You're going to have play, you're going to have record, you're going to have stop, those sorts of things. If you just have those three, you're great. I love the Ditto pedal made by TC Electronic. I love that one because it works and it does the job, does everything I need it to do. Nothing I don't need it to do. I'm all about that convenience. Hey, Eric, does it really become difficult for guitarists who can't sing to recognize the note and identify it? It actually slowing down my ear training. How can I improve it? Number one issue, you can sing. This stuff you're gonna either have to believe me or not, friends, because it's gonna make it really difficult if I have to answer these long questions every time. So I'm gonna just cut to the chase. You definitely can sing. There's no one here who can't sing. Your voice may not be what you think it should be, but you can improve it. You're not born with the voice that you have. You can actually improve it. Trust me, just trust me. Okay, with that being said, you can improve your voice issue if you would like to. Otherwise, the only thing you need to do is be able to hum, right? There's the note. Oh, that's all you got to be able to do. You don't need to have some great voice for that. So that's how you can improve. You can improve it by watching some videos on YouTube and learning, or take a course. Learn from my buddy Brett Manning. He's one of the best out there, Brett Manning, and I see him literally every single morning at breakfast. We eat at the same spot. If you don't know who he is, check him out. Singing Success. He's worked with Keith Urban and like a lot of greats, and he's, I don't know, arguably one of the best. Can you play without a strong pinky? I know some players use only 3 fingers. Yes, some people do that. Some great players do that. I say develop your pinky. It's there for you. But yes, you can play without a strong pinky. You can. But why? Why when it's there for you? Work on it. I've got exercise specifically for your pinky, you know? You say to Telly, can you put nylons on that guitar? Jeff, you can put nylon strings on it, but it's not going to work out very well because the strings are very thick. They're not going to sit in the nut right. It's going to be the worst sounding Telly ever, and it's not going to pick up the sound. The pickup's not going to pick up the sound of the nylon strings. So for lots of reasons, don't do that. For all these reasons, don't. Okay. Okay, great. Man, great questions today, friends. All right, we're going to do about another 5 minutes here, okay? I'm saying 5 minutes yet, and then we'll end it. In fact, I'm going to bump over to Facebook, get to some questions there, and I'll bump over back to YouTube one more time and get to some questions there. But we're going to end it in 5 minutes, okay, friends? Anything to tell you? Please share this video if you just come here and you haven't yet, for a chance to win a package of $529 worth of guitar lessons for life. That's how much we charge for it, but it's worth way more than that. If you haven't already, friends, look at me in the eye socket right now. Seriously, click the link that's in the description of this video. Get inside the free course. I can only tell you so many things. So you've just burnt an hour and 10 minutes when this thing is all done. If you spend that same hour and 10 minutes inside that free course, you would have yielded so much more. Not to saying that this isn't bad. This is great to get your questions answered. This is why I do it for you. But if you focus that time inside that course, I promise you, just listen to me. I've been doing this a while. It's absolutely going to change the way that you play guitar and the way that you understand music and everything else. Do it. It's there for you. It's free. Otherwise, visit me here in Nashville. It'll cost about $1,000 to do the same exact lesson. It's going to cost a lot more than that because my rate just went up to $200 an hour because I'm doing so much live stuff. I don't have the time to do one-offs. So I try to discourage it with that price. But there are folks that still want to do that. So but not nearly like they did before when I was charging $75 an hour and that sort of thing. Do the free course, okay? Okay, wait, what is step when you're bending? Is it note higher or lower? Jude, when you're bending, okay, when you're bending a note, here I'm at the 12th fret, okay? If I bend up 1 fret, it's called a half step bend. If I bend 2 frets up, it's a whole step. And then we can go up further from there. You can only bend up to a note. You can't bend down. I mean, I suppose you could do this. You could start bending up and then go. You know? You could do that, but other than that, no. You're always bending up. Okay. Is there any lessons specific to country music? What do you mean, Robert? Like in the world? Do you mean in UGS? Do you mean in the free course? Do you mean me on YourGuitarSage? You have to be more specific. Yes, there's lots of country music lessons on YouTube in the world. There is arguably all of them inside the free course are going to be country music because you have to know that stuff to play country music. But if you're talking like hardcore chicken picking stuff, I've got a few videos like that, but not a whole lot because I don't fancy myself a chicken picker or like a hardcore Brad Paisley type country player. I just don't. It's not my thing. I like it. I think it's great, but there's other guys that do that better than me. Okay. Okay. All right. And 1 more minute, so maybe a question or 2 more, and then that is it. What year is that Les Paul? This one, I don't know, Metal Strummer. I honestly don't know. And I think there's a way to know this. If anybody knows off the top of your head, let me know because I suck when it comes to serial numbers and knowing all that stuff. I really honestly don't care. Once I know how old my guitar is and all the parts and everything, but I remember we had somebody in the room here the other day that actually told me how to do it on the Gibsons. No, I take that back. It was on a Fender. It was the Telecaster I gave away because Gibson is wacky with their serial numbers. They're all over the place. So I don't know what year this is. It's not a 59. Does someone get that Studio Les Paul? Yes, Jeff. Dan Happ does. He won that one. Okay. What does the string gauge have to do with how hard you have to press? Froggy, not. It doesn't have really that much to do with it. Thicker gauge strings are a little bit harder to press down. That's it. Yeah, major scales, chicken picking, strumming, all that is inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. Indeed. All right, my friends, that's all we're going to do today. I would love to get to more of these questions, but alas, I've got more videos to make for you and other things to do. In fact, I've got some videos that I'm going to be making inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. Just to let you guys know, some videos that are going to be coming up are I'm going to be teaching you how to fashion your phrasing and that sort of thing, like B.B. King, using the BB box the proper way. I did some research on this, and over the years, I've always thought the BB box was something else. I had a video up of it, and I took it down because it wasn't totally right, and I'll be the first to admit it. But I also looked a bunch of other videos up on YouTube, and they weren't right either. So I think I found some cats that explained it in such a way. But then all of a sudden the light went on for me. You know, I love hacking things. And all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, but that means this and that means this. And I could do a video on that and that. And all of a sudden I had just a slew of videos, including an entire course that I'm going to be putting inside Unstoppable Guitar System, which is going to show you how to improvise in major and minor at the same time for a basic 12-bar blues progression that's using dominant 7th chords, where you can use major or minor. Not for minor blues. But in a way that's not hard. Because for me, it's like, oh, I got that scale, but now it's backwards. It does this and that. And it's like, and I've always thought about it that way. And then as I started really delving down into this concept and kind of taking the major and minor and laying them on top of each other, and then I saw that many of the notes were duplicated. Then really there's only like 3, 4 possibly notes that you might want to use outside of the regular minor blues scale. Really 3 that you're going to be using all the time. And there's a really easy way to figure this out. So anyhow, with all that said, I'll be creating some YouTube videos on this stuff. Obviously inside UGS it's going to have way more information because I create entire courses on this stuff to walk you through it step by step so that you can get this stuff, right? Friends, share the video if you would, please. And there was something else I was going to tell you. Thank you so much for everybody that donated money today. Dude, that's cool. I'm not playing around. I so appreciate that. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate all that. But this is cool because we literally can take that money and go buy a sandwich.
$40.
Almost $40. Dude, we're going to eat like kings. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. New stuff coming your way. I know there's something that I forgot to tell you, but anyhow, we'll figure it out next week, okay? All right, see you.